All right, so with just a few lines of SwiftUI code, we've built out this cell a bit more. And again, this entire time, it's been running live right in Xcode. I haven't needed to build and run this app. This kind of iteration is just so powerful on Apple Watch. We can finally get this really quick design flow going, and I don't need to do a round trip to the device. OK, so there's something else in SwiftUI that's brand new with it and is unique to Apple Watch. And that's an entirely new way, a new style of scrolling. So to do that, let's first add a bit of height to each of these cells. I'll go back to the inspector here and go to my height and add a height of like 100. The preview updates. And now I can go to my list. And this new style of scrolling is called the carousel style. With just one line of SwiftUI code, we've completely transformed the way that this list scrolls. If I go ahead and scroll it now in the preview, you can see that each of these cards now centers right in the middle of the screen. This gives your users a nice sense of place as they're scrolling this content, and lets you bring focus onto each of the elements in the list. Now, I decided to use this type of scrolling for Pop Quiz because we only have a handful of elements in this list. And I can make each of them big by using a frame. And this is where the carousel list style really shines. The carousel list style is also a great option if you have interactive elements within each of your cells, because that gives it a nice bit of focus and lets your users have nice big tap targets. OK, so there's also two new types of interactions we've added with list, both of which are brand new on Apple Watch. The first is the ability to drag to reorder. Now, we've made this really simple with just one modifier. You can add onMove and pass onMove a closure that tells it how to update your data store. In this case, we're just moving from one element to the next. And I can add a delete, a swipe to delete. What used to be a bunch of delegate methods and setting up swipe actions is just one line of SwiftUI code. So now I can scroll this list. We have this really beautiful animation, these really nice built-out cells. All this code is right here, right next to my preview. And if I find a cell I want to delete, I can just swipe it right in the preview and delete it. It's just so cool and so powerful. All right, so that was how we could use SwiftUI in our topic list and to build out these really great interactions that were just not possible before on Apple Watch. But that's just the start of what's possible SwiftUI in an Apple Watch. To see how to take your experiences to the next level, I'd like to invite Josh Weinberg to the stage.
Thanks, Matthew. So Matthew talked a lot about how we can use the power of SwiftUI to create amazing interactions just for Apple Watch. But as we said, the experience on Apple Watch is about much more than just the application. To build an experience on Apple Watch, first I want to dive into interactive notifications. Now, interactive notifications on Apple Watch are the primary way which you have to provide timely and contextual information to your users. On Apple Watch, notifications are made up of two primary parts. The first is the short look. Now, a short look appears immediately upon wrist raise and will provide information directly from the notification payload. This also includes your application icon automatically. After looking at the short look for a period of time, it will transition automatically into the long look. The long look is a scrolling interface which allows you to specify both a custom body as well as these notification actions below. Here you've seen a beautiful implementation from Yelp where they've created a complete reservation confirmation experience completely within their notification. To see how we can extend Pop Quiz to really live up to its name, let's add a notification which will place a flashcard right into the body to make sure I'm keeping up on my studies. So Where I want to start is in the notification controller. The notification controller was provided by the template when we created this project by just selecting the include notification checkbox. Very much like the interface controller, this is new as part of SwiftUI, but it comes from the WK user interface controller underneath. So this new user notification hosting controller provides the entry point for interactive notification and allows us to provide SwiftUI content. If you've used these before, it'll be very familiar, and you have the same did-receive method coming from the user notification framework. The did-receive method allows us to extract information from the notification, store it within our interface controller, and also provide those notification actions that appear below the notification's body. And then, much like the interface controller, we have the same body property. The one difference here is after did-receive is called, we will automatically invalidate and re-evaluate your body property so that your notifications view is completely up to date. To see what this notification looks like, let's jump into the notifications view. Now, here we'll have a preview of what this notification appears, but it's not really super useful if I'm trying to study yet. Here at the bottom, we can see a flashcard view, which is showing you both the question and the answer. To build this out and make it feel a little better, I want to go and pin this preview using the pin button in the bottom left of the canvas, and then go look at the flashcard view. And so now we can see I'm building my flashcard as well as seeing what it will look like in context when I'm all done. So I've already created some views which I can place into my flashcard to make this look a lot better. So the first thing I want to do is replace both of these texts by wrapping them within this side. Now, a flashcard has two sides, so let's wrap this in both sides. And we've gotten this really nice chrome around my flashcard and all the default styling that I'd want for any content which I put inside of them. But I can still see both sides at once, and I'm really trying to get better at studying. So I want to replace this VStack with a custom container which I've written, which I call FlipView. Now, the FlipView provides all of the transformations as well as the interactivity, which we're going to look at in a second. And all of the source code for this will be available after the conference as sample code. So to see what the notification looks like in practice, we can build and run using the notification scheme, which was included as part of the Xcode project. And we'll see that the short look appears. We transition directly into the long look, which looks exactly like our preview, like we'd want. We get these notification actions below. And as promised, the notification is fully interactive. I can tap the flashcard to flip it over, or even drag to interact directly within the notification body. Now, that was a really easy question, and I definitely got that one right. So we've seen with taking advantage of the same technology that we've used to build the application, we can create rich and interactive experiences within the notification. Finally, there's one more piece of the Apple Watch which I'd like to talk about, which is the digital crown. Now, you've already been able to take advantage of the digital crown within your WatchKit applications using the WK Crown Sequencer API. This API allowed you to do some very limited things with the crown, digital crown, but we want you to be able to create interfaces much more like the ones which we create in our own applications. With Apple Watch Series 4, we introduced a brand new haptic crown. The haptic crown, digital crown, provides feedback as content scrolls on the screen. This provides some really nice resistance and weight to each element, allowing the content to feel more connected to the digital crown than it ever had before. We've already taken advantage of this all across our own applications. For example, in Workout, where we have this beautiful list where the elements have a lot of weight to them as they scroll by, or when you're creating a custom timer and you have these pickers, where as you fly through, it provides haptic feedback. In SwiftUI, we've provided system components that give you this all out of the box. For example, list, picker, and scroll view will do all of this for you. But if you're going to build something a little more custom, we have some new modifiers as part of SwiftUI that allow you to realize these visions. The first kind of custom interface I want to talk about is what we call a free scrolling interface. In a free scrolling interface, you don't really have concrete stops between your content. And instead, you want to be able to stop anywhere along the sequence which the digital crown is moving.